Now, hey, Danny here, and everybody got something in them. Everybody has something special in them. Every single person. I don't want to hear nothing. Everybody has something in them. You have something special in you. You know, you're gonna find a lot of people who will tell you, who will try and discourage you from whatever it is you're doing. I don't want you to be too hard on yourself. I don't want you to think that you can't do things, because then again, that's all in your mind, you know. And then again, you might be feeling like you can, but you haven't tried it yet. You know, I want you to go out there and try new stuff, especially things that you've always wanted to do. I want you to go out there and try them. I want you to stay focused. It's important to stay focused. Um, I don't think you'll be able to accomplish anything if you don't focus on one thing. You know, losing focus is like it's a demon, and you don't want that. I want you to know exactly what you want. You know, it's a lot of people who work on a lot of different things and then they all fail because they couldn't focus on one thing first and then go to the next one. So I want you to know what you want. I want you to understand that things take time, and that's just part of life. That's just how it works. It's not gonna happen overnight, which is which is a sentence that a lot of people hate. You know, I used to hate it too, but I'm starting to love it because there's beauty in time. You know what I'm saying? There's beauty in starting today and finally getting what you want in 10 years. There's beauty in it. You know, maybe a long time, but there's beauty in you going back and watching your old videos about when you started and you go, damn, I've changed. Like, damn, I used to be broke. Or damn, I used to have that. I used to have this. You know, I was lacking that. Oh, I used to live in my car. Oh, I had one bedroom. You know what I'm saying? I used to sell flyers on the street. I don't know. Or I used to make music in my mom's basement or something like that. There's beauty in that. And I don't, you shouldn't want to skip that. You should want to keep that, you know? You should want to keep that as part of your story. You know, when you make it to a certain point in life in the future, you go, yeah, that was me. That's where I started. So you got some credentials and people can see that you've been working, you know what I'm saying? You've been working and that's good. And do not panic. You're gonna be fine. A lot of people panic. They panic, you know, once they're about to do something that they've never done before. But the panic is fine. You know, the fear is supposed to be there. You know, you have to make decisions that make your heart beat, fast, because that's how you know you're really doing something. Like, oh, you're really doing something. If your heart is beating fast, then you're really doing something. I just recently made some decisions in my life, family decisions that it's really sad, and I don't want to get into it, but it's just like I kind of had to do some stuff for myself. I kind of had to leave, you know, and that's just how life goes. I'm trying to focus more on myself because at the end of the day, nobody cares about me, so it's just me. So I decided to kind of do my own thing, and hopefully, I encourage anybody out there who has been living in a certain position or in a situation in which they feel a little bit well, not unappreciated. You should live it. You should go somewhere where people really appreciate you. You know, and there's nothing wrong. And if you can't go nowhere, just be by yourself. Just stay cool. Whatever has to come in your life is gonna come. If it has to stay, it's gonna stay. If it has to leave, it's going to leave. Do not stress yourself out. You know, I've always been the kind of person who gets stressed out by little things. You know, and that's me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that really is me. But I try to control myself. I think that's one of the things that make me who I am. The fact that I accept reality the way it is. I don't try to hide things. I wouldn't tell you to ignore things. No, you can't ignore things. You have to face them. You have to face your issues. You know, if you're stressed, then you're stressed. You should know that you're stressed, and you should admit it. Because if you don't, then you're gonna be stressed forever. You have to admit that first, and then when you admit it, now you find a way to fix it. Don't be the kind of people who go, well, I just, when when something happens, I just act like it doesn't. I just ignore it. You cannot ignore issues, bro. Life, it don't work like that. Life don't work like that. That is a sad life because you're gonna pretend like you're actually fine when in reality you're not fine. You're gonna pretend like, oh, you don't care about nothing, but you care about stuff and you think about this stuff all the time. I talk about issues all the time. That's how I overcome these issues. And then when I overcome these issues, I never go back to them ever. Like that's it. I'm done with it. I'm gone. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like you ignoring issues is gonna make you happier. It's not gonna make you happier. You have to understand that acknowledging your problems, that's the first step. You don't just you're right. That's the first step. And then when you acknowledge your problem, you try to find solutions. You gotta go, no, I'm this and I'm doing this and I'm stressed. Or maybe I lie too much. Or maybe I procrastinate too much. Or maybe I'm not doing enough. You have to acknowledge these issues first, and then you move forward from there. You make your plan on how to be better, and then you move forward. And that's how you do it. People who try to ignore issues, they live in a lot of agony. You can't ignore issues because they're still there. They're gonna come for you. Problems are always gonna show up. You're just gonna have to battle them all the time. That's how it goes. And also, you have to be. There's another thing. You have to be honest with yourself. It's kind of the same thing. You have to be honest with yourself. A lot of people claim, pretend to be, people. They aren't in front of other people to kind of impress them. Don't be that kind of person. You should be who you are. If people think you're weird, that's fine. Just be. I'm a weird person. Like I've always been weird ever since high school. I've been a weird kid. I'm not like your typical, street dude or whatever. I do know some people, but I'm not from that. You could tell by the way I talk. So I've always been like a kind of like a quirky guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that. I used to want to kind of fit in back in high school. I used to want to be like a cool kid who walked around with everybody else, who was cool, and tried to get all the little girls and in the pop. I tried to be popular, but it wasn't my thing. And that's the thing that people never really, because we aren't honest with ourselves, and we wonder why we're in so much, we're in deep depression. It's because we're not honest with ourselves. I had to be honest with myself. I had to talk to myself like, maybe this just isn't for you. Because I used to want to drink too and go out and drink. I don't like alcohol. Like I knew that, but I would still go out and then drink. But it's not my thing. I would always vomit, like not long after I had something to drink. But I'd always ignore it, which is not good, right? Once I figured it out, once I talked to myself and I was honest with myself, like maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm one of the guys who create their own lane and then follow their own path and do their own thing. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm meant for something else. Maybe my greatness comes from my weirdness, whatever makes me weird. Maybe that's what makes me special. And I gotta work with that. And you have to work with whatever makes you weird, if that's what you want to call yourself. I don't think nobody's weird. Everybody's special. But maybe that's your thing. Maybe that's what makes you special. But we try to ignore these issues so much that we end up becoming people we're not comfortable with, just to impress other people who, if you died right here, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't call your mom or check up or see how you was. They wouldn't even notice until like maybe 2 years later, and they go, "What? What happened to this person? I ain't seen him in a minute." And then they go to your little, they call like your family members or something. Or I don't know. And then they tell them you died. And then they go, "Oh, what? He died. She died." And it's like, it's important. You gotta be honest with yourself. You have to know yourself. And there's nothing wrong with being, because a lot of people get, and I know what it feels like. I know the urge of wanting to fit in, wanting to be like this person or that person. You don't know the issues. You don't know the problems these people have to face. The people who you want to be like, Maybe you don't know how they got wherever they got. Maybe whatever it is you're doing is supposed to, maybe your life is happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And you're trying to destroy everything by doing things you're not supposed to do. Read your life. It's important to read your life. What are the things you have not been doing since you were a kid? Things that aren't necessarily healthy for you. What are those things? Don't do them. They're not for you. There's a reason why they're not, why you don't feel comfortable doing them. Don't do them. Don't do these things. I don't want anybody to get depressed. Depression is a demon. It's not a good thing. It's very negative, and it forces people to act in a preserved, toxic way, which is ugly. Really, it's ugly. I want people to have, you know, tranquil lives, happy lives. I want you to go out there and be happy and do something that makes you happy, and be able to sit somewhere and just be you, by yourself, just sitting there, just being you. That's it. Just being you, enjoying your life without thinking about what other people think about you. Just be you. Do your thing. There are a lot of bad things happening in this world. You shouldn't let people, like life is already kind of trash. It's a lot of things happening. A lot of people dying. You got wars. You got all of that. And then, who is anyone to come tell you not to be who you want to be? Are they going to save your life? Like, are they going to make, like, do they have the power to make life? No, they're just like you. And they're going to perish just like you. Nobody should tell you what you, who you should be or who you shouldn't. Or what you should do or what you shouldn't. Nobody. You should be able to do whatever you want. Because people don't really care that much, you know what I'm saying? You gotta love, like, you gotta love yourself. Nobody loves you like you love you. Nobody. Make sure your mental state is fine. Make sure you're doing what you want whenever you feel like it. You shouldn't feel bad because you don't want to go out all the time and your friends always want to go out. You shouldn't feel bad. If you want to work on something that has to do with your future, work on it. Don't feel bad because you don't want to go out and they always want to go out. But you got plans and you're trying to work on a business or something. Do not feel bad. Don't feel bad. You haven't done anything wrong. Do that thing that people always look at you and go, "What is he doing?" If he makes you happy, you go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. If that thing makes you happy, that thing that always makes people go, "Hey, what's wrong with him?" I don't understand him. I don't understand her. She's so weird. Do it. You're doing it for you though. That's the thing that makes you happy. You should go ahead and do it. Coming from the guy who's always been trying to pretend, you know what I'm saying? It didn't quite pan out. It never does. So, go out there and be yourself. Be happy. You know, be tranquil. Which is me. I'm looking for tranquility. I'm trying to be in a little, my own little space. And not bother anyone, not let anybody bother me. And that's about it, really. I hope everything works out for you, whoever it is you are out there trying to figure out your life. I really do. Try to remove anything negative out of your mind and focus only on yourself. Only. You're gonna be fine. That's my message for you today. Danny, I'm out.